Alrighty, so now we're going to check our work. This is very important. I stress it so much in all of my other courses. This is one of the most important parts of your essay. So we have written our essay. So we've got our introduction, first body, second body, third body, conclusion. Okay? Now it's important that you check your work. Okay? Because you will find so many minor mistakes here and there, spelling, punctuation, and it's very important that you fix them right on the spot, right? So leave some time, and I talk about this in my other lectures, how to review your work, and the checklist that you can use to help you, okay? So, and there's another video that talks about how you should be reviewing your work in this course. I posted that lecture. So you can watch that one. It will definitely help you, okay? But as you saw when I was writing the essay, I was checking my work as I was doing it, right? I was writing sentence by sentence, then I read the paragraph. So that kind of eliminates the amount of mistakes that I had, because I've already kind of pre-checked it. But it's good to check the full essay so that you understand the sense of it, if it flows, if you're repeating your ideas, if it makes sense. Remember, you're going to leave about 5 minutes to check your work, right? You're not going to be able to make drastic changes. Like if you repeated an idea, or if you've said the wrong idea, it's unlikely that you're going to change it, right? You're not going to change it because you don't have the time. So it's important that you check your work as you go along, but it's good to give it a final check. To check for punctuation mistakes, for spelling mistakes. If you've been using the same word over and over again, you can just erase it, like minor mistakes here and there, okay? So we're gonna read it, okay, from top to bottom, and then from bottom to top, okay? So, and then do the same with your essay, okay? I'm just gonna read my essay for my own purpose, okay? Read your own essay or follow this one, whatever you'd like to do, okay? But this is how it should be done, and this is how I do it how I did it on my exam, and how I tell my students to do it. So, employment has been a prominent part of life for several centuries. Potential employees are sometimes asked by their employers to provide personal information such as their marital status, hobbies, etc. There are individuals who agree with this opinion. However, there are others who are on the opposite side of the spectrum. I'm inclined to believe that there should be a balance between the range of personal questions that an employer asks his or her potential employee in order to create a semi-formal environment. Solid, good. I didn't find any mistakes. I think it's great. It makes sense. It's logical. The vocabulary is there. I'm not repeating a word, and it's great. So moving on, first body paragraph. There's a myriad of reasons as to why asking personal questions during an interview can be advantageous. One of them is that it relieves tension. See, not tensions, tension. I would have never noticed that. From the potential employee. It is well known that interviews are a stressful process, therefore asking personal questions can make the employee feel more comfortable during the interview. This will optimize his or her performance during the interview because he or she will not feel stressed and will be able to show his or her full potential to the employer. In addition, asking personal questions during an interview creates a potential connection between the employer and the employee. For example, if the employee's hobby is bowling and it is the same for the employer, the two individuals will have a stronger connection and understanding due to their similar interests. This can ease the interview's atmosphere and can allow both parties to feel comfortable during the interview, which will increase its quality. Okay? Once again, punctuation is in place, spelling is in place. I fixed a little thing, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. You don't want to stick too much on it, like you're not making radical changes once again. Check what you have. If you don't have mistakes, move on. Okay? However, there are some negative aspects to asking personal questions during an interview, one of which is that they can get too personal. To further explicate, there are some life occurrences which one does not wish to share with someone they have just met, especially an employer. For instance, if an individual has lived a difficult experience in their personal life, which he or she has just overcome, discussing it with the employer can bring back all the negativity of the event. This can result in the potential employee not being fully concentrated and optimistic during the interview, which can lower his or her chance of obtaining the job. Moreover, if an employer's personal beliefs do not match with those of the employee, this can result in a false subjective judgment from the employer. This can result in the potential employee not receiving the job, regardless if he or she is qualified for it. Okay? Once again, sounds good, makes sense, what I'm talking about, my ideas are clear, I have a transition, I have an example. Third paragraph. In my opinion, it is essential to include personal questions during interviews. However, it should be done to a limit. Asking minor personal questions can put an employee at ease during the interview. For example, questions regarding hobbies or food preferences can help establish a comfortable environment during the interview. In contrast, if the questions are too personal, meaning questions regarding family or health, it can make the employee feel even more uncomfortable during the interview, which can lower his or her overall performance. Therefore, I believe that there should be a balance between the types of personal questions so that the interview has a semi-formal atmosphere. Okay? Once again, I've explained my opinion. I've given an example. Everything makes sense. I don't think there are any questions that a person would ask because I've made sure to explain everything to its bone, practically. And then last conclusion. In conclusion, it can be said that there are some positive aspects to asking personal questions during interviews. However, negative aspects are also present in this matter. I hold the opinion that there should be a balance between the subjective and objective judgments, which are brought about by the types of personal questions asked. You can say asked by the employer, if you would like. By the employer. This is because a balance between a personal and formal environment is important. A balance between personal and formal environments is important during an interview to ensure its general success for both parties. Okay? So, we read the entire essay. Okay, so you read it from top to bottom, and then you read it from bottom to top. So what that means, you read last sentence. So this is because the balance between, and then you read the sentence that comes before it, right? So what this does, it checks for grammar mistakes rather than whether the essay makes sense. Okay, so that's how you want to check your essay. Okay, read it sort of out loud in your head, and then be very, very picky. It's important to be super picky, otherwise you're not going to find any mistakes, okay? You have to perfect the essay in the amount of time that you have. I understand it's very difficult, especially if English is not your first language, which for most people it's not. That's why you're taking this test. So it's important that you tweak it to its best potential. Make it very, very difficult for the examiner to find mistakes in your essay. That's the goal, okay? And then once again, there are some tips in my other lectures on how to prepare for the test. I always say do not study the day before. Do not over practice. There's only so much information you can shove into your brain. So make sure to get your sleep, get rest. Okay, if you've practiced and you've taken the courses needed, you've seen tutoring, you've seen teachers, and you've practiced, then you're going to be fine on the test. Okay, the worst thing you can do is panic. Panic is not going to help you. Panic is your enemy. Okay, and you know that, but you need to hear this. Okay, so I hope this course has been helpful to you. This was kind of a demonstration of how to write IELTS Task 2, one of the hardest questions that there can be on IELTS Task 2 because it takes more time and there's way more writing that needs to be done. So I hope this has made sense, and I hope it had given you the feeling that I had originally wanted you to receive from this course, right? So as you saw me write and type and think all these things through, I hope it made sense to you, and I hope it made easier for you to be able to do the same thing. Okay, once again, I'm going to post more of these task 2s, so stay tuned, and I hope to see you in my next course.